Ladies and gentlemen, it's the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like-minded, Tony tone deaf, rockin' with you. I wanna welcome one and all to the Clown World Review. Please like, share, tell a friend about this video so we may grow into a massive commercial empire together. Today we review the second episode of the Legend of Zelda animated series entitled Cold Spells. The episode begins with the beautiful Princess Zelda mentioning it is the first day of spring and asks Link if he knows what that means. Link takes it as a sign of love in the air, but Zelda, after giving Link a chubby, informs him that it means spring cleaning is to be performed at Hyrule Castle and she wants him to help. Typical princess, typical. So Link begins mopping the floor, but he has the idea to pretend to be sick, which draws concern from Sprite. The scene switches to Zelda criticizing Link's room for being dirty. Like, why are you even in his room in the first place, number one? Like, I get the Triforce is in there, but you were just talking to him. Like, why didn't you have him clean his room or something? I don't know. Anyway, the Triforce reminds Zelda that orderly ways do not make one brave, and neatness does not a kingdom save. Zelda cracks the window open, and almost immediately, one of Ganon's birds fly through the window into Link's room and begins attacking the princess. Zelda busts the bird upside its head and then begins suffocating the bird in Link's ball sweat before sending it back to Ganon. Link enters the room afterward, and Zelda asks him why he isn't cleaning, but Sprite defends her friend and says that he's sick, which Zelda's skeptical, but Sprite pampers Link to bed anyway, and then it's revealed that the bird didn't fly away, it actually perched right outside the window and listened to the entire conversation. So the bird flies back to Spectacle Rock, which is Ganon's lair, and informs its master that the heroes are spring cleaning. And then Ganon makes a tier 2 dad joke and says that he'll join them in cleaning the castle out as well. Of the Triforce, back at Hyrule Castle, the workers and Sprite continue to clean while Ganon spies on them from the ledge above. Sprite buys an orange for her friend Link, and Ganon curses the unknowing fairy, and it doesn't even show what the curse is, it just shows Ganon cursing her and cackling, and anyway, Sprite brings the orange back to Link, and then she goes off to do more chores, where in Zelda's room, Zelda gives her a list of things to do, and as Sprite attempts to use her fairy magic, it's revealed that not only is her power, OP, but also it's, twisted it some way. Like the mop buckets start growing wings, and the cleaning rags start kicking the fairy's ass. And Zelda and Link from separate areas of the castle hear Sprite scream, and the princess actually witnesses almost a production line of these, winged mop buckets going to the fountain outside of Hyrule Castle, then going back through her bedroom window and just flooding away. So, of course, Ganon's celebrating to himself that his plan's working, and the mop buckets just continue in. The room's like half flooded now, and you see Link running up the stairwell. He opens the bedroom door, and all the water comes rushing out, and not only flushes him down the stairwell, but here comes Zelda, and they both make a brutal landing on the ground below. And it's at this point that the heroes deduce that Ganon must be behind this, so Link gives Zelda a couple of bows and arrows, and with his opponents distracted, this is when Ganon rides Alec Baldwin up the side of the castle tower and into Link's room where he steals the Triforce. Ganon states the two Triforces will make him the ruler of all of Hyrule, which I have some discrepancy with, but I'm too lazy to point out, so Ganon takes the Triforce of Wisdom and he takes off. Meanwhile, Sprite's still getting her ass kicked in Zelda's room by the mop buckets and feather dusters, and she calls for help again, and finally the heroes show up and they take out the possessed linen, send it back to Ganon, and they realize the Triforce is unprotected. Zelda, Link, and Sprite then rush to Link's room and see the Triforce has been taken, and Zelda blames Link here when he was literally saving her or helping her save her friend. They chase after Ganon, Link and Zelda, and then Sprite chases after the unknowing pair. Ganon is shown hauling Baldwin away from Hyrule Castle. Ganon reprimands his progressive steed like Alec Baldwin would reprimand his daughter, or the paparazzi, or a random person just trying to park in New York City. Anyway, due to a 40-year diet of Bombay Sapphire and booger sugar, Alec Baldwin isn't able to run fast enough to please his master. Zelda and Link are hot on Ganon's trail, but Ganon's able to enter the underground through a forest entrance and then closes it off before Link and Zelda arrive. Link says that he knows a shortcut, and Zelda seductively says, "Well, you listen yourself."
This better be good. You remember what happened the last time we tried one of your shortcuts?
Damn, girl. Damn. Link shows Zelda another tree entrance to the underground, and Zelda again seductively says,
"Now I know it's a trap."
"Better calm down, princess." Anyway, so they enter the underground where it's dark. The heroes run into multiple traps. They then hit a trap door, and Link and Zelda fall down this abyss. Sprite sees it, goes chasing him after them, and we cut to Ganon, who's now placing the Triforce of Wisdom next to the Triforce of Power. And it's interesting to see how they treat the Triforces, how, the placement of the Triforces before they introduce the Triforce of Courage in Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Anyway, Ganon hears Link and Zelda's screams, and as he turns around, they come falling into his chamber room and into Ganon's cognac glass. Ganon taunts the heroes for a bit before releasing Dungeon Boss Goma on the captive heroes. I love Goma. Goma's old school. If you don't know who Goma is, I don't know. I guess I didn't lose respect for you, but you should know who Goma is. Watching my video without knowing who fucking Goma is. Sorry. So anyway, Goma tries to reach his claw in through the top of the cognac glass and latches onto Link's sword, attempts to disarm Link, but Sprite's hiding up in like a vent of Ganon's chamber. I don't even know what it is, a ledge. But she uses her cursed power to zap Goma just long enough for Link to flip over the crab, and Link sets his focus on Ganon. So Link goes to zap Ganon, but Goma distracts him from behind, and Ganon goes to shoot Link, but Link dodges and it hits Goma, sending the crab back to hell. While this is going on, Sprite shatters the cognac glass, freeing Princess Zelda, who pulls out the bow and light arrows that Link handed her earlier, and she nails Ganon with it. So while Ganon's disappearing to hell, he uses his magic, hits one of the pillars in the chamber, and it all starts coming down. While rocks and rubble and debris and everything's falling on the heroes, Zelda's just able to grab the Triforce of Wisdom, but in episodic nature, wasn't able to grab the Triforce of Power, which got buried in the rubble that used to be Ganon's chamber. Back at the castle, Sprite mentions it's time to rest, but the princess says they still need to clean her room. Sprite and Link then both pretend to catch a cold, and Zelda paints the walls with Link's brain at this point. She's had it. Sprite's over here in a hysterical shock, and Zelda just starts caressing the Triforce of Wisdom. Anyway, thoughts on this: a fucked up end to a pretty good episode of the Legend of Zelda animated series. It's hard to remember some of the names of the older enemies, but I remember Goma. I always liked facing the enemy, and I just loved the name. As a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid playing the game, it sounds so evil back then. Even though I hate to say it, I've probably calls with the person named Goma. I could probably stand to play the original 2 games a little more often though, and not that they even have the enemy games in the first Zelda. You need the booklet for that, just go back to your roots. I play them about once a year, but Zelda 2, that difficulty, if you haven't played Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link and beaten that, you don't know what despair is and inner turmoil. You don't know what it's like to cry, so let's not get into the darkness, okay? Let's not get into the darkness it was interesting to see the placement of the 2 Triforces. For the animated series, the Triforce of Wisdom was green, and the Triforce of Power was red. And then, of course, in Zelda 2, they introduced the Triforce of Courage, but the Triforce in the game is portrayed as gold. So after Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, they had a few episodes of Captain N, the Game Master, and they showed the Triforce of Courage in there, and it was depicted as a purplish blue. And I liked that. I liked the color of that. It was a little weird because, the Triforce of Courage is Link's Triforce. You would have thought that would be green, and Zelda's Triforce of Wisdom would be blue, but I don't know if it was a lack of foresight or just, it's not that important, I guess. Something else that was interesting about the Captain and the Game Master episode was that they portrayed the Triforces rather than kind of a triangle or more of a 3D triangle, they were pyramids that radiated gold. It was unique, and I think we're going to go ahead and review Captain in at some point. Maybe we'll do that on a live stream. I do have a live show in the works. I just got to get that subscriber count up, you know? I think we're at 44 subscribers right now, which is fantastic. We're like a month into this thing, less than a month, and I can't thank all of you enough for that. Once we hit 100 subs, maybe 75, I think 100 subs though, we'll go ahead and introduce a live show. So thank you for tuning in. It's the Clown World Review. We don't do soy here. That soy shit is out the window, okay? You can go to Entertainment Tonight or something for that soy shit, alright? Here, we tell it like it is. We review the nostalgic, good animation and good shows from our childhood. We'll review modern stuff. It don't matter, alright? Also, speaking of reviewing, don't miss my Legend of Zelda Age of Calamity videos coming up. It'll probably be a few videos to review that, because it's not that I want to take my time with the game, but, you know, I gotta get the content out there. It's all about now, baby.